Yo, what's up, everybody, and welcome to King's Casting Couch. I am your host today, Sandro.
I'm Woods, also known as King Kong, because you know, Kong vs. Godzilla is going to be out in a few days. Team Kong.
And I'm just the Burger King here, and I go by Van, but for all intents and purposes, I'll be named Burger King.
For obvious reasons.
Yes.
Now, as you can see, we have a very special guest tonight.
Today, we are joined by local video game streamer Bear. Why don't you introduce yourself a little bit?
Great. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. Like what Sandra said, or King Ina, if you'd rather take that. I go by the name Bear. I stream on Twitch, but if you'd like my real name, you could also call me Jet, or yeah, let's just stick with Jet. So, yeah. Hey guys, what up?
All right.
All right. So, I guess the first thing that we should get out of the way, in terms of video games, which is the topic today, is the news that the online PS store is closing.
Well, specifically the online PlayStation 3 store is closing.
The online PlayStation 3 segment.
It's gonna be in July, I think, and it's like, oh, you gotta get all your DLCs and games while you still can.
Is it
Well, that's
just
one
for the
thing.
PS3?
It is pretty old.
It's just for the PS3 and the PS Vita, because I know the
okay.
PS3's been around for 15 years.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that's the one thing that shocked me is when I got informed about this whole thing, and then they were like, dude, the PS3's been around for 15 years. And I was just like, wait, what?
I was always under the impression it came out in 2007. Then I was like, no, wait, it's November of 2006. Like, goddamn, I was 3 years old.
Well, I think it's also because I kind of got my PS3 late. The PS3 came out, the first version of the PS3 came out, and I was still using my PS2 like everybody else. And then I think I got my PS3 around 2010 or 2011, which is probably why I felt that it was whoa, 15 years that it's actually been around.
See, I got my PS3 late also, but mine was really late. I got it right before the PlayStation 4 came out.
Yeah.
Oh.
As for myself, I got mine. Well, I never got mine. I always used to borrow my brother's, and it was actually the first ever console that I didn't have to sneak into my brother's room just to play it. He'd let me play it, because when I played the PS2 and the PS1, I'd always have to wait for my brother to leave for work or something like that. So I have had really good times with the PS3.
The first version of the PS3, it was kind of annoying because not only was it super bulky, but it had that yellow light of death thing where over time it would just have this yellow light, and if it popped up, your PS3 was pretty much dead.
Yep. That happened to my PS3.
Oh no.
Which my brother handed down to me, and it got that YOTD or YOLD rather, yellow light of death.
Yeah.
Anyway, it got it after 2 years of being given to me. So.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's
all the memories of me grinding Modern Warfare 2, getting to Prestige 10 and whatnot. And
oh, speaking of Modern Warfare 2, they're actually gonna shut down the servers for that. Also, it's the servers apparently right now, as of this moment, are really broken and really dead. So they're gonna shut down those servers.
Dang.
Because I was watching something about it where they revisited Modern Warfare 2 I think this year or last year, and it was really hard to get games, really hard to actually stay in games, and there were a whole bunch of problems that I think it came out that they were finally just gonna shut down the servers for Modern Warfare 2.
I guess because the game was also really infested with cheaters,
Oh yeah.
Cheater lobbies,
I think Modern Warfare 2 had its fair share of hackers, but it wasn't as bad as World at War on PS3 and Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 is dead solely because of the hackers. It's so hard to find a game that isn't hacked. And it's so sad because I love Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 is my first Call of Duty that I ever really experienced, and it's my favorite one. and I think it's like the perfect Call of Duty. Only thing is, like, you go on multiplayer. I think the last multiplayer game I had was June of last year, and there was literally like a 6-person lobby. 3 on one team, 3 on the other team. I'm like, Jesus Christ, this game used to have so much life in it.
Yeah. Well, that's what you gotta expect with age, you know.
Yeah, it's sad though that all these
That's
classic
true.
Call of Duties are dying out. Like Black Ops 3 on the PS3 had more populated servers. Like that's saying something. Black Ops 3 on the PS3 was terrible.
That's hilarious.
I remember when I went on like the World at War multiplayer servers, like it was absolutely dead.
Oh yeah, it is on
It's
PC
just like-
though.
And like it's funny because like World at War is a really really good game with like a good zombie section also and all that stuff. But it's super like it's like a ghost town to the point that like if you play it now you can only play campaign and zombies.
Oh yeah, nice.
I feel like that's just on PC though, because I remember PS3 also had a lot of hacked lobbies, but they were the fun kind. Like they were the ones
Yeah.
with like all the anti-gravity mods where like you jump and then you're like over the buildings and stuff.
But
Speak-
Woods, what you call this? Remember we used to run zombies on Black Ops 1 too,
Oh yeah.
and some multiplayer on Black Ops 1.
Yeah,
So it's kind of surprising how like that one's still alive, but like some of the games after that are pretty dead also.
I know Xbox, like the Black Ops 1 servers are pretty dead on Xbox, but we all know Xbox is garbage anyway, so.
Whoa, hey. Whoa.
We got a Team Blue over here.
Yeah, I've been PlayStation for the longest time.
Speaking of like different Call of Duties, Mr. Bear, I'm gonna call you Mr. Bear for fun. What seems to be like, well, what's your favorite like Call of Duty game, like, in your opinion?
My favorite would be the one I just mentioned a while ago, which was Modern Warfare 2. I would say that one was the one that got me super hooked. And I remember the times that I would grind, I wouldn't sleep, I would try and be Prestige 10, which I did. But after like so many months of grinding, I remember unlocking all the camos for it, and it was actually the only game that I played consistently on the PS3. And ever since, I would say I became a Call of Duty fanatic. I've never touched a single Battlefield game except for Battlefield 4. But other than that, yeah, dude, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, that was the shit right there, man.
Quick scoping with the intervention.
Exactly.
Actually, that's where most of the memes were born, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's where MLG. That's where like the
Exactly,
MLG memes were born.
Yeah. Yeah, with the
Dang.
dual 1775s.
Oh,
and
the
then
eight,
just running around.
the 1887s. The 1887s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Oh,
Yeah,
like, that game was fun. That game was fun. Modern Warfare 2 is a definite classic. But yeah,
So like the most recent Call of Duty game, Warzone, there was news that like they recently had like a cheaters purge on the game. Do you think that if they were able to purge all the hackers on like Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 2 and all of that stuff, do you think that it would like make people actually want to come back into the servers? Or do you think that like they're really shutting down the servers because you know those games were just
Old.
done, yeah, just old and they passed their prime?
no, actually, like I know a few things about this. I know sometime last year, Activision actually released a shadow patch to Black Ops 2, which was supposed to like is an update to their anti-cheat or something, where it was like supposedly it was to help purge cheaters off the game, because I know a lot of YouTubers were playing the game again and be like, oh yeah, this game's so hacked. But that didn't work. That was a goddamn lie. And I know that Modern Warfare 2's case, like the servers are really just broken. It's nothing to do with the player base or the hackers or anything. The servers themselves are just really broken. But like, yeah, it's just sad to see those go, because like those were really fun Call of Duties.
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember like the Call of Duty of my childhood was COD 4.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
COD
Call
4.
of Duty Modern Warfare.
yeah.
I was like, no matter where you played it, whether it's PS3 or PC, that game is
Mhm.
always so freaking fun.
All gillied up, man. All gillied up.
Oh, that mission, dude.
Too much
Kind of makes you wonder what happened to Call of Duty over the years.
I don't know. The past few Call of Duties seem to be doing all right, except for maybe Black Ops 4.
Yeah,
Black Ops 4 was
Oh,
the
really?
worst.
and probably, I don't know. I would say like Call of Duty Ghosts was kind of like straying away a little bit from what made Call of Duty great.
I have a lot of opinions on on Call of Duty Ghosts. We're not gonna talk about that here.
Well, isn't that the point of the podcast?
Well, I guess, but if we're gonna, I'd end up with a whole retrospective video.
Oh god. Well, actually, on the topic of cheaters, it's like, well, like, what are your thoughts on like cheaters in general, like on hacking the game, manipulating the code, and all that? And,
Okay,
or, like,
Bear plays
cheating by
Warzone.
yourself and cheating with other people. Like,
Bear plays Warzone. Let's get his opinion first.
Yeah, let's get his opinion.
All right. Well, on the topic of cheaters, I would say, specifically Warzone. All right.
Mhm.
I stopped playing Warzone because of that reason. Like I would come back every now and then just to check out the new bundles or just to check out the new zombies that's in the map of Verdansk in Warzone. But I would say out of 10 games, I would run like 6 out of those 10 games I run into somebody sniping me from way across the map or using a Car 98 with no scope, which headshots me as I'm falling through the sky. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped playing Warzone. But on the topic of hacking, or cheating rather, I don't think it's an issue if you're just gonna do it yourself, you know? Like, okay, if you're going to be playing a game like Assassin's Creed, you want infinite throwing knives or whatever, nobody gives a shit. Because that's on you. But
True.
if you're gonna ruin the fun for everybody else just because you want to get that unfair advantage, you know, there's a special place in hell for you. And
That's true.
those are my sentiments on that. As long as it's not online, do whatever you want. But
Yeah.
you know, don't ruin the fun out of the game for everybody else.
I have a similar
I
take
guess,
for
like-
that. Like, the thing is, like, if
Oh,
you're
go
gonna
on,
hack
go
the
on.
game, right? If you're gonna do it in like a private match and have fun with friends, or like as I said in World at War, like sometimes it's hacked but it's fun, like, you know, the anti-gravity mods and all these, like, you have all this crazy shit going on, like people flying around with laser beams and whatever, and it makes it fun for everybody. It makes it fun for everybody in the lobby. If you're gonna do that kind of hacking, that's fine. Like, if you want to make it fun, if you want to have fun, that's fine. But if you're gonna hack, give yourself like unfair aimbot and like infinite ammo and god mode, and you're flying around the map and no clipping through places, that's when things are ruined, right? Like,
Yeah, it kind of begs the question, like, what's the point of playing the game then?
they don't want to play the game, that's why they hack.
That's pretty depressing. Well, what about you, Mr. Sands?
Oh, well, I have actually kind of the same sentiments as everybody. Like, I think, like, I mean, cheating for me, like cheating in video games, went all the way back to like in Sims 4, when you used to do the motherload cheat just so that you'd be able to buy whatever the hell you want, or GTA 5 or GTA San Andreas. Like, I think cheating on those games is fine because it's purely one player, right? Like what Bear said. But the moment like you go on like an online lobby and you start like competing towards with other people, I think it just becomes it makes it's something like, if you're a professional streamer that cheats, you should not be a professional streamer anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the type of gravity that cheating and hacking should be taken care of. Although I wanted to add earlier, because like Bear was mentioning like all his encounters with cheating. I remember watching one of his streams, and like you could tell that he did not want to play Warzone on that stream because he was so sick and tired of all the hacking. And then like I think like I was messaging him on like the Twitch chat, and I was trying to egg him on to play Warzone just because I haven't seen him play Warzone in such a long time, and I think
Yeah.
that he's a really good Warzone player. So he finally got to play Warzone, and in one of those games, there was this guy who entered from the gulag. I think you can remember this. So like,
Yes, I can. Yeah.
for those that don't know Warzone, basically when you enter from the gulag, you only come in with a pistol. And this guy
Yeah.
like came in from the roof, and for some reason, this guy like he was like Bear was coming out from below, and then he was able to like headshot or kill Bear with a pistol, something like that.
With the
It was just
X16.
really-
Yeah, with the X16, and I was dead silenced, so he wouldn't
Yeah,
hear
that's-
me running up. And even before I got up, he was already pre-aiming where I was at. So
it was just really really funny to see that happen. And then what happened was like we decided to watch that guy for a bit and see what he was doing. And it was really funny because like obviously to some degree he was hacking. I don't know exactly what cheating or hacking that he was doing, but to some degree he was. And it was funny because like he had two people spectating him, and I think he already knew that they like suspected that.
Yeah, somehow
was
Warzone
hacking.
players know when they're specking.
Yeah, right? So like he
You
was
got
trying
some
to
sort of
hide the
sense.
fact that he wasn't hacking. So he was like doing all these weird things to make it look like he was just a normal player. It was just really really funny to watch.
But it's like, bro, stop the cap.
exactly.
I mean, like, okay.
We know you're hacking. Just stop trying. Just stop hiding it. We know.
One of the fun memories I have of like actually entering a hack lobby was on Black Ops 1. Of this was like years ago, of this guy. Like he was announcing to the lobby that he was hacking. But like, and sure, he was using the unfair hacks, but he was making it a game for everybody. See, that's the kind of fun
Yeah.
shit that I want to see. Like he was like saying, all right, so this game, I have infinite mortar strikes, and I have you can only kill me if you shoot me in the head or if you knife me. So it made it a game for everybody, like to just try and find this guy and kill him. So like it kind of almost became like a game of Team Michael Myers or something. Yeah, and then cut.
Next thing
Well,
you
as
know,
long as you set the grounds for
Yeah.
the rules of hacking, like what that guy did, I think that would be perfectly fine. And as long as everybody in the lobby is okay with it, then I think
Yeah,
go for it.
exactly.
But the saddest thing I remember of hacking was, can you imagine people still hack Black Ops 1 in 2020? The game is 10 years old, bro. I'd have thought you'd
Bro,
had a
World at
life
War
by
is,
then.
World at War is even older than that.
No,
People
but like,
still
okay,
hack there.
because I remember, I think I was playing with Sans. Sandra and I were playing, like, this was what, like 3 a.m. in the morning or something. We were playing Black
Yeah.
Ops 1 at like 3 a.m. and I was just running around like we were playing a game, multiplayer. I think it was Team Deathmatch. And next thing you know, we're getting killed from out of nowhere. And as it turns out, 10 years into this game's life, somebody is using invisibility mods in like June of 2020. How sad? How
remember
sad
that
can
game.
you be? How sad can you be that you are hacking on a 10-year-old game?
Oh my god. Well, I guess that's his mindset. Like, oh, it's a 10-year-old game. Might as well, I guess.
Yeah, but it's 10
Like,
years
have
old.
fun with
Nobody
it.
cares about your KD anymore.
That is true. That is true.
That's true. No, but it was really funny because like what happened with that guy was I think he was like on our team or something. Oh no, he was
He was
against
on the
us
enemy
first.
team. Why do you think we were dying so much?
And that's
Imagine
like
if he had
the first
friendly
game we
fire.
lost, but like he stayed in our lobby. And then the next game he was on our team, and then we were like blocking all his kills just because we knew he was hacking.
Yeah, you see
We were, like-
that's what you do.
That
If
was
you
really-
if someone is hacking or camping on your team, you just stay next to them and start shooting so you expose their position.
Since everybody has like bad experiences and like good experiences with hacking, I think it's like safe to like ask like what's your favorite like just overall like favorite video game experience or like memory.
Ooh, that's a hard one.
Yeah.
That is a hard
There's
one.
so many to choose from. I guess we could like whoever has a thought in their head. Maybe our guest. could
Yeah, let's
go
go with our
first.
guest.
Yeah.
Let's see what he thinks first. Like, what's your favorite ever video game memory?
Fair.
Yo, I think his mic cut out.
Whoops.
We can cut that out. We can cut that out.
Yeah, we can cut that out. The power of editing.
Hello.
There we go. He's
Oh,
back.
There we go.
There it is.
Yeah,
there.
whatever happened
My
before,
bad,
we can
my
we can,
bad.
we can just cut that out. So our guest, Bear, what do you think is your favorite ever video game moment like that you've experienced?
Okay, so it's really hard to answer that question. So I wouldn't say I would have like a top one, but I would say one of the most memorable things in gaming that I could remember was during the release of, well, not really the release. I would say when Final Fantasy was ported to the PC.
Oh.
And I remember that time because it would always go back to the time like where I said we would always have to sneak into my brother's room, my sister and I. And when we're done playing, we have to place the controller exactly where we found it, even as well as the cables on how they looked like from when we got it.
Damn.
Because my brother was super careful with his stuff. And in terms of gaming, I would say my brother had a much bigger love of gaming, more than me. So I would say that was where I grinded. I remember losing so much sleep over that my mom actually had to confiscate my dad's laptop at the time just so that I would stop playing. And another thing was when I got to play the very first Assassin's Creed game on the PS3.
Oh yes. Assassin's
When
Creed
it was
1.
when it wasn't even Ezio yet.
Yeah,
it was
Altair.
Altair,
It was
yeah.
Altair.
The OG.
And I remember being so immersed in the story, and like I would be like Requiesta de Pace or something
Yeah.
like that every time like something cool happens, or you know. So I would say there are so many things, but though I would say those moments are what really made me have this deep love for gaming, you know. Like it's more than just myself. Like I actually learned a lot of things out of games. And so yeah, I would say those two would be up there if I were to have a list of favorite moments in gaming.
Yeah. It's also the same here. Like I don't have one specific memory, but like I have a bunch. Like to list a few. Like let's see. Beating the Dreisendrach Easter egg finally, like 3 years later. Let's see what else. Black Ops 3 Zombies. The life cycle of Black Ops 3 was such a high point for the community. That was amazing. Beating Black Ops 2 on Veteran. That one took me a while as well. And Rev Major 2019. Rev Major 2019 is a special story for me.
Why don't you expound a little bit?
Okay, so let's see. The Dreisendrach Easter egg was something I always had trouble with. I'll go through like each of them shortly. Dreisendrach Easter egg. The map came out in like January of 2016, but then it was released on the PS3 in like April of 2016, and I beat it in like 2018. Yeah, it's 2 years later. I beat it in 2018. I remember when I finally did and I got the ending cutscene and I was like, yes! Yes! Yeah! And I was like standing up and everything. And I was like screaming, man. And I was
Gamer
like,
hype.
Yeah, they're gamer hype. And then let's see what else. Beating Black Ops 2 and Veteran. That was one thing I tried before because like I just wanted to get as many trophies as I could. Like that was because again, Black Ops 2 is my favorite one. So I just wanted to try and get as many trophies as I could, and when I finally beat it on Veteran, I was like, let's go. Finally did it. I finally did it. That was so much pain.
Trophy you could get.
Nothing.
The bragging rights.
Yeah. When you
Saying
finally
you
beat
accomplished something on Veteran.
it. Yeah. But I never did as much as my dad though. My dad beat that game on Veteran like over 10 times.
Oh,
Yeah, he'd literally
wow, really?
he'd literally just get bored, hop on Black Ops 2, put it on Veteran, and just beat the game.
wow.
Damn,
I did not even
Gamer
know
dad.
this.
that's a gamer right there.
Yeah. Like
Gamer dad.
man, I remember that. Like, I was like, I remember telling my friend that I was like, "Yo, my dad's beat the game." Like, I think this was only when he'd beat it like 6 times or so, and it's like, "Yeah, my dad's beat."
6 times?
Yeah, I was like, my dad beat the game on veteran like 6 times, and he was like, "Yo, what the hell? Your dad's a warlord."
Next thing you know, he gets to finish it with his eyes closed.
Wouldn't be surprised. So there's that, and then Rev Major 2019 was just like, that was my first fighting game event that I ever like went to, and like you had all these like cool professional players there. You had all these cool people here. You had like the commentary was amazing. All the live games too, and then like it was such a cool event. It was so hyped up, and this was around like one of the high points for Tekken 7 as well. So it was really cool to see like the community here, as well as like a lot of the like foreign players coming here. And like as far as I know, a lot of the foreign players, when they're interviewed, they always say like they have a good time at Rev Major. So like that's one of the coolest like parts about it here, because like you really get to see. It's something you don't really see with Call of Duty, because I like with games like that, it's like they usually don't have too much of like a professional scene here. But with fighting games, especially Tekken, like that's where you really see like the community come together. It's like you see them all in this big place with like the loud music and like the cool neon lights and all like the tech people on the sides. And then you just have people going around taking pictures, getting controllers signed, and it's really awesome to see. Like even the foreigners say like, oh yeah, the fighting game scene in the Philippines is really cool, but the Tekken scene is even bigger than you could imagine. Like it was just really cool. It was such a time. Too bad there was none in 2020 because
Yeah, unfortunately,
I was really looking forward to that too.
All right, Burger King, it's your turn.
Oh, I completely forgot that was my name. Oh, okay. So memorable gaming moments. Where to start? All of them. Well, for me at the time, most of my gaming life kind of started with the PS2, and it got to the point where we were too poor to afford like the original copies of the games, so we kind of just went to this local shop where we pirated the games.
Yo, pirating games was such a vibe back in the day.
Yeah, dude.
You had
That's
you
true,
you
yeah.
have to have had at least a few games that were like knockoff or pirated.
You
Yeah,
know
dude.
those like containers where you could insert the CDs in. Yeah, I still have that actually.
What you mean like the
Like
just
those
like-
ones for the DVD, but then it's all like PS2 games.
you mean like you mean
Yeah,
these?
exactly,
You mean something like
exactly.
this? Like these
Yeah, like what
these,
is
Yeah,
multi,
yeah.
these
Yeah,
multi-stack
exactly.
DVDs.
Man, those were like the days. Like you'd actually have to go out of your way just to be able to play this game that everyone else is playing. Like, oh, and after a few days, it stops working because like it's pirated.
Because it's then you
Yeah.
like you take out the disc and it's all scratched up.
Like, oh crap. And then you start blowing on it.
Blowing.
Right?
Oh yeah, blowing on the disc, dude.
Those were the days. Great. Now we're just like reminiscing.
Yeah, like,
So when I heard that like games like, let's say for example like Jack and Daxter, Kingdom Hearts were being remastered to the PS3, like all the way like from my PS2 days, I was like, oh god damn, I better get these, because like all I remember was like blowing on the damn CDs and I couldn't finish the games because that's all I'd be doing. So yeah, that when I remember them being remastered, I was like, okay, I had to get these games because like, okay, I have to officially finish them by myself and not just like hop onto my older brother's save file and say, oh, I completed the game, quote unquote. That was the stupidest thing I did. Yeah. Another thing is just I feel like this goes for everyone. Like if you're into like RPG games or JRPGs, you know that secret boss that's like accessible only through specific means. And then once you actually face it off yourself, oh god, it's so hard. But then like once you've gone through all the deaths, like how many times you've died, once you finally beat that boss, ooh, that's the most satisfying thing ever.
definitely.
Like
That's true.
that's like one of the best gamer moments ever.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you feel accomplished in yourself, even though like it took you like what, a month, 2 months. God. And I think the other best thing in general actually is just having fun with friends, you know?
Yeah.
chilling,
Yeah.
vibing, multiplayer, public lobby, or private match actually, and
Yeah.
just having a casual game. That's all it is. No words are needed, just the game and your
Yeah, yeah.
friends.
That was so fun.
Well said.
Well
Yeah.
said. Very well said.
Thanks. All right, next.
In my case naman, I have like several also. I can't really choose like which is my top. But probably one of the first ones is actually pretty recent. It goes back to the time when we were playing Black Ops at 3 a.m.
Oh yeah.
Like we were with Woods. We were just doing random game modes. And then there was this one lobby where we encountered a bunch of Spanish guys.
Oh wait, was I part of this too? Oh wait, no, it was you.
No, you weren't
Right.
there, but this was so much fun.
Did you do the
And
Kermit voice?
basically, so Woods and I didn't have a mic, but Woods basically starts trash talking these guys.
Yeah,
In
because
Spanish.
the only like okay, context, the only like Spanish like sentence I really remember is tu madre eres una puta. Which means like which basically just means your mom's a hoe. And I was like buenos dias señores, tu madre eres una puta. And they got so pissed. They were so pissed, dude. Like, they would not stop going on and on in the pre-game lobby. It was like, Jesus. And then, oh wait, then just to add to that, we bumped into them in a later lobby. Like, we left this one lobby to try and find like another TDM lobby, and we bumped into the same party as Spanish people. And I was like, hey, señores. ¿Cómo te llamas? Like, what's your name? And this guy just goes, what's it like? Ah, shit. He says something like, your whore mother or something, then they left.
COD
Weren't
without
they, like-
toxicity isn't COD.
Yeah.
Actually. But weren't they also like saying, parang they were trying to say that we were hackers or something?
No,
or like
no,
they were
no,
trying to
the-
tell the lobby that we just entered that we were gago.
No, I think that, like, cause I think they were pub stomping us basically. We were getting crushed that lobby, but then I think I just like I kept like just like really being the stupidest guy ever and just being like, yeah man, what's up, like, bro, it's just a joke, bro. And then they're still there trash talking.
But like, one of the best parts of that whole thing was like in the game they actually targeted me and Woody, and I already like I'm better in PC than I am on console in terms of like FPS games. So I was like struggling so much, and then I was like, "Yo, Woods, help me out here!" And he was like, "I keep dying."
Dude, there was a time.
Oh my
like,
gosh, dude.
There was the time like
So
we
fun.
got so mad. Like I was getting so pissed off because our team was so useless. I think we decided to play Capture the Flag, and that's a game
Yeah.
hardly anybody plays. But it's an objective. You have everybody trying to rush the opponents. The opponents are in our spawn. Nobody is guarding our flag, so we just spawn, die, and everybody's still trying to rush the enemy flag. When we finally do have the enemy flag, it's not like we can take it back to base because they're all there and nobody's doing anything about it. And I was like,
Oh, God,
Jesus
man, that's
Christ,
so
can they
fun.
do something for once?
So that's one of my memories. Another one of my memories is I remember in the grade school bus, I met actually, like, this is legit the story of how we became best friends. But my best friend, who's actually been my friend for about like 15 years now, I met him on the school bus, and the reason why we started talking was because of video games. In particular, one of the biggest PS2 games, which was God of War and I Ninja at the time. And I remember, like, I didn't have my PS2 yet at that time, but I would go to his house specifically just to play God of War and I Ninja. So, I mean, of course, like, it's memorable to me because, like, I got one of my closest friends out of it. But man, God of War in itself is such a good game. It had really good storyline, really good graphics. And I remember like they only made 2 games for the PS2. And then the moment the PS3 game came out, it was on the PS3 already. So we ended up like going through YouTube and watching the gameplay before we actually got the chance like years later to actually try the game. And because we were such big fans, like the first time we ever finished the game, we were all like gamer hype in my game room. We were all like, ah! You finally beat the game. It's just like, oh man, it was such a trip. And then like the third one is kind of similar to that because another gaming franchise that we actually like played every single game that came out, like almost every single game, was the Batman franchise. Because we played, they have like Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and then Arkham Knight. And then we played Arkham Origins, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City on the PS3. Like we were able to play that. Up to this day, we have not played Arkham Knight. We're still trying to play Arkham Knight, but we did go through the gameplay. It was really funny because like when we went through the gameplay, the moment we finished that gameplay, we got the same gamer hype feel that we did as if we finished as if we finished the God of War game. It was really, really fun. That's another game also with really good graphics. But yeah, those are probably my top 3.
So anybody get into any like new games like recently? I know Bear's been playing a lot of Valorant because that's what's popular now.
Yeah.
Valorant.
I've been playing a lot of Persona.
Actually,
Yeah,
that was the last game I devoted myself to. Like,
and I am currently devoting myself to that game right now. I think Van and I are like the only like. I don't know, Bear. Have you played any Persona games?
Actually, I have not. They're telling me to try Persona 5.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
Yes, you should.
They,
you should.
they like my brother has a copy. I have yet to borrow it from him. Like right now, or a few hours ago rather, I went on my PS4 and then I saw him playing Persona Strikers, if I'm not mistaken.
oh, the cash grab.
Okay.
Yeah.
Van has a lot of
But
opinions
then-
about that.
Yeah, because he finished or he platinumed already the actual Persona 5. So he was but yeah, he was recommending that game, but unfortunately, I have not yet played it.
You should.
So is it like the royal version or is it just regular P5?
I think it was the royal version. I'm not sure. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I see. Because the royal version is basically a version where they just cut out like
No,
a bunch of the content,
No, it's like.
and then they. God. Oh wait, you go.
Yeah, it's like okay, because you have Persona 5, then you have Persona 5 Royal. Persona 5 Royal came out like a year or two after Persona 5 and was like, yeah, you know all that like stuff we cut from the original game, let's just cram it back in there and say call it a day. At least that's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. But you don't need to play Royal, I guess. Like you can play Persona 5 and it's fine. Like Royal's not even canon.
For some reason.
Okay, then if it's I just searched it. If it's this one, if you guys can see it,
yeah, that's
then it's that one. Yeah, this one. This is what he played and platinumed. Yeah.
all right.
That's the original.
That's vanilla. That's vanilla. Yeah. But
You know, on the topic of Persona 5, I think the funniest thing that we could mention is the fan base,
oh god.
because the biggest meme that comes out of that game is the fact that there are so many Persona 5 fans that have never actually played the game, yet they will risk their mother's grave just to defend it. Like,
Yeah, they will go
What?
to extreme lengths to try and defend either the game or their waifu, and like it's like you haven't even played the game yet.
yeah, it's like the joke is don't mess with us Persona 5 fans. We read the story on Wikipedia. What? It's like you imagine these Call of Duty like try hard fanboys, but like
Oh,
on
God.
a higher level.
It's
like
like-
higher level, quote unquote.
Like with the fighting game, the meme was like, "Don't mess with us fighting game players. We don't actually know how to fight."
That's basically it. Oh god, such a meme.
Yeah.
It's always the fan bases
Man.
that somehow what I don't want to say bring down the quality of the game, but like it kind of actually this is a perfect segue into what we could talk about next. Like the fan bases, like the communities of each like franchise. Like sometimes it could be such a turnoff for like newcomers or casuals that just want to get into it, and then they
Yeah.
start gatekeeping it, or they start like being elitists and all that. And like, hey, no, you have to play this game like this way or whatever. So like, I guess perfect question is, well, what do you think of like certain communities, like this kind of mindset that they're trying to impose, or what do you think about casual communities?
Okay, I have a thing like
You know, oh sorry.
No,
You can go
I have a
first.
thing
It's okay.
with Tekken. Like with Tekken, it's like it's when you first start getting into it, it's gonna sound like when the like some of the like people in the community that are more well versed in the game, like when they start like telling you about what's gonna happen, it's like it sounds very like technical at first, but it's not even like elitist or like they're trying to force something on you, because it's actually naturally gonna happen. Like as you play the game, like from what I've noticed, there's always like there's a certain life cycle to a Tekken player. Like you see the game, you play the game, and you pick a character that's like step 1 is like, oh, pick a character because he looks cool. Step 2 is learning how to play the character. Then like step 3 is just getting better at that character. Then by like step 4, you start playing some of the more advanced characters. Like I think one of them was, oh yeah, by step 4 you play Brian. Then step 5 you start playing a Mishima, and then step 6 is just getting really good at the game. Like it's just something that's gonna happen naturally. So like when people start like talking about it with new players, it's not, you can't even say like, oh, stop forcing it on him, because you're not forcing it on him. It just happens. But that being said, there are like those like try-hard assholes that are like, no, you're supposed to play this character and you're supposed to play him this way. Or like it's the same thing with Call of Duty. You're like, yeah, but why are you using that gun? It's not even meta. You have to use this weapon with this loadout, and you have to use these perks to go with it. I'm like, shut up, dude. I just want to play the game, man.
Yeah.
I totally get that, dude. Like I remember I downloaded Dota 2, I think, or Dota 1 to play with some friends, and I think, well, one of my mistakes was like I played with them while they were practicing for a tournament, possibly, or
Ooh.
or more just like, I think it was the fact that I was playing with them who were clearly more experienced than me, because I just got the game. I didn't even know how to like, you know, maneuver my way around it. But I remember like I was playing the game, and then I was put in the lobby with them, and we were going against some people, and those people actually were calling for me to be banned already, like my account to be banned, when it was like literally my first casual game. And then like one of them had to like go on the mic and be like, yo, shut the fuck up. And like starts trash talking the guy for me, and I'm just there trying to learn the game. It was just a really, really funny experience. But then after that, like I noticed how like there were also like within my friend group, like there were some people who were really, really dedicated to the game. Because what happened after that first casual game was like when everybody went to bed, there's like this one guy who stayed behind and literally until like 3 a.m. gave me like all the ins and outs of Dota. It was like I was like, dude, this is such information overload right now. It was like until 3 a.m. we were talking, and he was like, okay, this is how you jungle, this is how you move, this is the mid, this is the safe lane, this is the... I was like, what is going on? And he was like, okay, as a support, you should not have that much money. And then it was just like, what is happening right now? I couldn't keep up with all that stuff. So it's just, I just felt like I was exposed to all aspects of that fan base, of that community, rather, like in one night. I felt like, okay, at least in some way, I know that this game is something that's not for me.
Yeah, I get you.
Dang. Well, what about you, Mr. Bear? Any thoughts and opinions?
in regards to toxic communities or communities in general, I can give a really good example of what a toxic community is and what a non-toxic community is. For example, a toxic community for me would be boomer Pokemon players who love to gatekeep the newer games. Who would be like, "Oh, I've played Pokemon since Gen 1. I've caught all 800 plus blah 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 Pokemon." And then like, "Oh, I don't capture the Pokemon not unless it's shiny or something like that." So
What?
there are a ton of people in the Pokemon community who are new, who are kids, and you have these boomer players who would be like, "Oh, look at these new people just entering Gen 8 for the first time." Like, kid, sit down. Like, no, you sit down. Let the kid play. Like, you know what I mean?
Visualizing that.
Like, there are, because I'm also a huge Pokemon nerd. I love getting each and every Pokemon game, except for Sun and Moon. I never touched those games. But I would say there are a lot of diehard fans out there who are actually really kind, who help out other, I would say, trainers, Pokemon trainers. But there are those who are also part of the majority who love to gatekeep the games. Like, don't play this. Start with the older ones. Like, what if I don't want to start with the older ones, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say, in that aspect, like, it's a single player game. If you want to get into the competitive fighting, then I say bring all your information so that you could help that player get better. But if that person just wants to catch Pokemon, wants to have a level 100 Ratata on their team, let them, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
But I would say that another community that I totally love is the Monster Hunter community, because I love playing that game. And throughout my experience, I'm pretty sure there are some people who would also gatekeep, like, "Oh, I started Monster Hunter since PS2 or whatever, or PSP, whatever." But during my entire experience with the community, I've had nothing but support. Like, I would ask people, "Oh, how do you do this combo on the longsword or the bow or the greatsword or whatever?" It was just such a very uplifting and supporting community that in gaming you could see that it's like an entire spectrum. Either it gets really toxic or it gets really friendly. But then
Yeah.
again, it's gaming, so you have to kind of have a grain of salt when it comes to being too kind. Like, there's no group that's too kind. Maybe you just stumbled upon that certain group who's really kind. But other than that, I would say in the gaming, there's a lot more toxicity than, something good out there. But it's all, I would say that in terms of, as a player myself, you just have to, it's either you want to dive deeper into that and join the toxicity, or just shut it, or just shut it out. Because honestly, for me, going back to Call of Duty, I've had my fair share of trash talking in pubs. Like, I wouldn't say exactly what I've said.
Yeah.
But,
we can't say that now. We can't say that now.
I've had my fair share. So, gaming, it's part of the game, I would say, and that's my thoughts on it.
Like,
See Woody smiling.
okay. Because one thing I noticed, especially with Call of Duty, is like, or with just video gaming in general, is that you have like there's a certain level of trash talking, and then there's Filipino trash talk, and that's way different.
Yep.
Like Black
That's
Ops
so
2. Black Ops 2, I remember bumping into like a lobby full of Filipinos, and I was like, I can't even say what they were saying right now, because like that's gonna get us taken off the internet.
Yep.
But it was just so funny though, because like I was just thinking about it, because I was on Twitter like sometime last month, and like one of the original like FaZe Clan members, FaZe Temper, was playing Warzone, and I think he was playing like trios or something, and like he gets like jumped by this one guy, and like they take him out. Like the guy takes out Temper's buddy, and then Temper like downs him, and then like just the thing where like you down him, then you run up and start like punching him. And Warzone has death chat, so out of nowhere you just hear this guy like really close to his like potato mic, and it's just like, "Tang ina kasi may kasama ka, bobo." And then like you could just see Temper's like, it was on stream too, I'm pretty sure, because like you could just see Temper's face change, and he's like, "Wait, what language is this guy speaking? Anybody know what language that guy was? The hell what did he just say?" And it was just so funny because it's like you really like when you make a Filipino gamer rage, it's so funny when they go on the voice chat, and it's like,
Yep.
this is even funnier because it was with Americans, so like it was so funny to see their reactions to like this really like just the most like ang lutong niya. Like it was so funny to see that. Like trash talking.
boy.
Trash talking's always been a part of a game. Like you can't really take that out. Like you can't even say like, it's 2021. We need to like stop insulting each other less. It's always gonna be part of the game. You can't take away it's fundamentally in the game. You're always gonna start talking shit like when you lose or when you get
No
pissed off.
matter what it is.
Yeah.
You could be playing Minecraft for God's sake, and like there's still gonna be trash talking.
CS:GO is toxic. CS:GO is like really
Oh,
toxic.
definitely.
Especially when you get into like, dude, it's so funny though, because I am really bad at CS:GO. I am like the most bottom tier, like bottom feeding shithead on this game. And I'm playing in these super low ranks. And I still get these like trash talking like Chinese players and like sometimes the Russian players, but the Russian players are more chill than the Chinese ones. Like, I remember one vivid memory I have was like jumping into this one game and like there's like 2 players or something with like Chinese names, and then like we're losing and he just goes in the chat and just like suck team or like team sucks or something, and I was like, dude, you're queuing in silver. You are queuing in silver. And then he left the game. And this was ranked too, so like there's competitive cooldowns and everything. Or like I was playing Counter-Strike and I had just gotten off a 7-day like cooldown. That was one of the most annoying things, is when like you either disconnected or you rage quit, you'd get like competitive cooldowns, and like the longest period you could get was like 7 days. I had just come off a 7-day like cooldown. It was I think it was like a Friday or something. I was so excited to start playing Counter-Strike again because like everybody was talking about it. Like, okay, I'm back on CS. I'm gonna play this game. And I failed a headshot, and the entire team kicked me off the game, and I got another 7-day ban. And I was like, shit! I just got off. Oh my god.
Oh man, dude, there's nothing like watching the whole team turn on you and being like, this guy should just be kicked off.
I mean, luckily, like something like the fighting game community, I think Tekken, the Tekken community is not as toxic. Street Fighter can be pretty toxic though. Like that's like Street Fighter's been around for like the longest time, and like you have all like the boomer players, but like I think it's because they're just like used to trash talking each other, because like dates way back to like when Street Fighter 1 and 2 were like in the arcades, and like you were really like next to each other and you were like, oh yeah, come on, what you gonna do like on the joystick. And it really was like a thing where you had like, I know in Street Fighter at least, you really do have like dedicated like players who are really known to like trash talk and be toxic. Like you don't really get that with Tekken pros though. Like Tekken professionals are some of the most chill people you will ever meet. The only time you ever see them get toxic is when they're playing online. And I can totally understand. Online Tekken is like, oh dude, that's, even I'm not good at that. But like, sure, you have like people that pop off in Tekken, but then like you never have someone that actually like has like deep-seated hatred for someone else in the community. Unless you're Swedish.
What?
This like it's a thing with Swedish gamers as well. Like when like you have people in communities, like you have XQC, Leffen, and then in Tekken's case, you had main man. You had the main man, and that was the one where like he really called out the entire Korean Tekken scene. Like, because Korea is one of the biggest Tekken scenes out there. He literally went on stream and just called out like the Korean Tekken scene, and everybody went back at him with full force. But yeah, like,
Oh damn.
toxicity is always going to be a part of always going to be part of a community. There's always going to be toxic players. It's just about how you end up managing it. Like, again, like what Bear said, you can either give in to the toxicity and start shit talking back, or you can just be like, whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
That's true, yeah.
All right, so I mean, on the topic of communities, why don't we talk about the different like avenues out there to create like communities,
Oh yeah,
like
since,
in the video game, like streaming and all.
since
that
we do
stuff.
have a streamer on here who's way more established than I ever could be. Let's see what it's like. What was it like to start out to try and establish your community?
Yeah, dude.
Well, for those of you who do not know, I started out streaming on Facebook.
Yeah.
This was last year around July, and the growth over there was insane. Like in one day, I've gotten over 300 plus followers, but the only reason why that happened was Facebook has this feature where you could send out invites to have friends like or follow your page for you with just a single click, right?
Yeah.
So if you were gonna talk about a community, there isn't really a big community out there because it's really hard to get discovered when you're a streamer.
Mm-hmm.
The only time you can get discovered when you're a streamer is if you get rated by someone bigger, or if you have connections and you stream with that bigger streamer and other stuff like that. So when I was starting out, I was lucky enough to have a ton of friends who were very supportive, who would watch the streams even on the background, like they're doing work or something. They're gonna watch me just so that I have a high viewer count and my discoverability would be seen, you know? Where other people who are just scrolling the internet or scrolling Facebook rather would be able to click on my video randomly. So when I was starting out, I had that luck with me, but I didn't really feel fulfilled at the time because it was more of I didn't have an active chat, or it felt like I was talking to myself the entire time.
I know that feeling.
But-
I know that feeling.
Yeah, dude. Like, I'd be happy if I saw Woody right there, because I know he'd watch a ton of times.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if you could notice, my face would light up and shit like that.
Yeah.
So when you're streaming, it sometimes it gets lonely to the point that I'll just play this on my own, because when I'm streaming, it would feel like I'm playing alone anyways. So when I was building a community on Facebook, it didn't really feel like it was going anywhere. So I took a 2-month break and I talked it over with my girlfriend and a couple of friends, and I said, I think I'm going to be moving to Twitch. Fast forward, March 1 of this year was my first stream. And there were a ton of people that dropped by. There weren't a ton of people the entirety of the stream, but there were a ton of people who dropped by and said hi. Oh, they're just gonna lurk, meaning they're just gonna watch in the background. But at least you know they're there, you know? Like, they make you feel like, oh shit, this dude is worth watching.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'll just keep his stream on the background even though I'm not chatting. It doesn't mean I'm not watching him, it's just I'm not chatting. So at least you get that vibe off of Twitch, right? So when I was starting to build my community on Twitch, luckily enough, the first week of streaming, I was able to reach Twitch affiliate. And
Shit.
I think that was very good for me, because everybody who's been following, like I would say 80% of those who followed me were random people in the internet. The rest were just some friends and family who made Twitch accounts just to follow my page, you know?
Yeah.
Just to get those numbers up. So when I was making a community on Twitch, it was a way different story. Like, it was so fun. I couldn't wait to stream each and every single night. And the times I don't get to stream, like, let's say, for example, during the weekends, I would think to myself that, oh, I have free time, I might as well stream. But then again, I did promise that my schedule would be just Mondays to Fridays. So I would say that my experiences in building a community was far more easier in Twitch rather than on Facebook. So if you guys could catch me live, you'd see that there are a couple of people chatting, and majority of those people I do not know personally. So I would say in building my own community, if anybody else wants to try streaming, you know, the first thing is try and not to look at the numbers,
Yeah.
honestly, because that's what got me down in the first place. Like, it's not like once you start streaming or once you start recording or once you go live, 10, hundreds, 1,000 people will watch you. The people that you see now who are amassing thousands of views, concurrent views rather, they were at that point as well, that they had less than 10 viewers, or yeah. So as for me, every time I stream, I have a viewer count of how many people are watching, but I don't really mind it, because I read the chat off of my phone. So if it starts popping off, even if it's like 3 viewers, that means that there's an active chat. Then that means your community is good, because they love engaging with you. And so yeah, when I started building my community, I would say it was hard at first, but once you do find that people or that niche where people could, you know, feel comfortable with, or they feel they have a place with, then you've done your thing. Even if it's a single person who found you entertaining, then you did good, somewhere along that journey of your streaming journey. So, yeah.
Like what you were saying about, like, even if it's just one person chatting and like your face lights up and everything, I know that feeling. Like when you finally see that like one message pop up in chat and you're like, see, I can engage with somebody. Like,
exactly.
There's no better feeling than that. Like, it's even better when you start engaging with someone and then they drop you a follow. Like, that really like says something, like, man, I was really able to, like, get this person to, enjoy my content, what I'm showing. Like, that there's no better feeling than that. Like,
yeah,
it's
like,
just one of those.
I'd tell you this one particular story where I had a single viewer. This was still during Facebook, but this guy started following me as well on Twitch. So there was this one stream where it was just me and him. There were a couple of people other watching, but they weren't chatting or anything. And this dude would watch my stream every single time I would get on. He discovered me out of nowhere. I do not know him personally. We're not Facebook friends. We do not have any mutual friends. And he just stumbled upon my stream. And he started I would ask him, "Yo, how was your day?" Or, "I hope you're doing good. Have you eaten yet?" Or, because it was like past dinner time. So he would be super engaging, to the point that a few days after he's been dropping by my stream, he would open up that his girlfriend broke up with him and he feels like in a really dark place, and that my streams are actually helping him get that thought away from his mind, even for just a couple of hours. And that made me feel so fulfilled, in a sense that I was actually helping someone get over a really bad thought, or I was at least making this person's day a little better just by streaming. And I would say that's one of the most memorable things that memories that I've had with streaming. And I always think back to that day, and I treat each and every single viewer that I have that way, because you don't know that other person behind the screen. So when you're streaming, you have to really give your best out there. You don't put on you don't just put on a different face, or
Yeah.
in our terms, don't be plastic, right?
Yeah, I get you.
So just for me, being yourself, because not everybody's gonna like who you are, but for the people who do, they actually stick around and enjoy every single second of your stream. So yeah, streaming has actually given me so much confidence in myself, because honestly, when Sandro approached me, if it was like a year or two ago, I would have said no, because I was really shy with talking to random people, right? Like, in all honesty, Sandro's the only person that I've known personally. So I was like, looking back, like, I was telling myself, if this was like 2 years ago or like 3 years ago, I would have said no on the spot. But then, since I've been getting so much social interaction in streaming, I've kind of gotten out of that shell. And so I would actually, streaming has done so much for me. Like, I can't even describe all the good things it has done. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty wholesome.
Love to see it. You love
Yeah.
to see it.
Yeah.
That was like a really cool, wholesome story.
Yeah.
Considering the fact that like we went through like all toxic communities and all that stuff, it was just
Yeah,
like, oh, it's nice that we have like a wholesome bit here.
Yeah, that-
See, when they
Yeah.
say gaming isn't good for you, show them this.
It's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't have one without the other. Or you
Yeah.
can't fully appreciate one without the other, I'd say.
it has its moments.
It has its moments, definitely. But yeah, like,
That's true.
streaming, like, for me, one of the ways I knew like how people would actually grow. I know like they do it in a lot of I just used to see it in like the Tekken scene as well, was you change your Steam name to your Twitch link. It's like, I know on my Steam name up till now, like, even though I'm not streaming, I have not like streamed in months, it's still like twitch.tv/dysfunctionator or something. And like it was cool though, because that's how I used to like gain some like followers or viewers, was like you'd like play. I was playing Tekken a lot at the time, so like I'd fight someone and then they'd come onto my stream later and be like, "Hey, I'm the guy you just fought. That was a good game." Then you start engaging with them. And then it's like, that was one I remember though. Was I was playing and then the guy came in and I was like, "Hey, I'm the guy you just fought. Like, that was a good match. Thanks for that." Then like I started engaging with him. Then he was like, "Yeah, I'll drop you a follow, so I can catch your stream next time." And it's like, again, you get that feeling of like, I was able to engage with this person. I was able to, it's not something that's like super special that like, I really genuinely connected with this person. It's like you formed a connection with a viewer. And it's like, you just get this feeling that's like, hey, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
What a vibe.
It's such a vibe though. All right, so for a quick intermission, why don't we head down to sponsor of the day, baby.
So I don't know about you guys, but over the pandemic, I've taken this new hobby of taking care of plants and, taking care of my garden, which is why it's perfectly coincidental that today we're being sponsored by Abundant Earth Agri. They make their own organic garden fertilizer for your plant needs. You can follow them on their social medias below in the description. And then, maybe their fertilizer could be the answer to your garden. Oh, here. Like what I noticed about streaming in general is that it kind of peaked during the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
And like rightfully so, because like everybody's been, I've never really experienced any other event aside from this particular pandemic where like the entire world was like locked in their houses and stuff. So it just made sense that people would turn to like video game streaming, and I would just like randomly get these notifications on my Facebook or get PMs like with a Twitch link saying, "Yo, follow me, I'm trying to start like this gaming channel," and all that stuff.
Yeah,
But what I noticed, something I noticed, which is kind of funny because it also like goes back to what we were just talking about. was like all these streamers that were like sending me all these invites, actually including Bear, I think. The first few games that you would stream before you actually expanded was Call of Duty Warzone. And I just found it really funny how like my entire feed ended up becoming like these different guys like playing Warzone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me it was like hilarious because like for example like I can go on Bear's stream and see how like he plays Warzone. Then I go into another person's stream and I can see like how he plays Warzone. But I think Bear was actually one of the first streamers to like consult his community and be like, yo, what other games do you want to see me play? And that's how he ended up like starting to stream like Valorant. And I think for a time he was also streaming like Fallout.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm
Yeah, I
not
think I saw some of
mistaken,
those.
if I'm not mistaken, you had like don't you have like a theme per day or something like in terms of like what game you play and all that?
Originally, I did, but honestly, when I started moving to Twitch, that transition to Twitch, I would always have these let's play series. When I was still on Facebook, like what Sandra said, I would go for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we'd play Fallout, and then once we're done with Fallout, we'd go to like Final Fantasy or whatever. But when I moved to Twitch, I would always ask chat, or I would ask my friend who's also been streaming with me. He started like a week earlier than me on Twitch, so we'd be like, what do you want to play? Because right now our main game is Valorant on Twitch, right? And then I told him that I've always wanted to become a variety streamer. I don't want to be known for a main game wherein if I don't play that game, a lot of people won't watch me. You know what I mean? Like, let's say I started with Warzone, and I wouldn't say I'm bad at Warzone. I would say I'm pretty decent. So if people watched me play Warzone all the time, let's say I have 10 viewers watching me play Warzone and they love the content on Warzone. If I started streaming Fall Guys, like, how many of those people would stay, right?
Yeah.
So as much as possible, I want to become a variety streamer wherein I don't have a set number of games or a set rule for games that I would play. I would also base it off of the vibe of the people watching. So let's say if they feel like Valorant's getting too tiring to watch, I would be telling my friends, oh, let's play some Phasmophobia, like let's get our heart pumping, so that, because people love seeing other people screech or scream or get jump scared on screen. So in a sense, I would love to keep that up on Twitch, because I don't want to be known as, hey, it's Bear, the Warzone guy, or it's Bear, the Valorant guy.
Mr. Dalek JD, the zombies guy from YouTube.
So yeah, basically it's more of I want to be known as Bear, a streamer, not Bear, a Warzone streamer or a Valorant streamer. So yeah, it's more of those kinds of things.
Went from the zombies guy from YouTube to very famous YouTube man. Speaking of pleasing communities, this brings me back to like speaking of zombies, especially like zombies and pleasing communities. Like the Call of Duty Zombies community is like one of the hardest communities to please. Like I remember around after Black Ops 3, everyone was saying like, oh yeah, zombies is dead. And then like you have these like content creators that are like moving to other content to like pad the time between the next game. Like there's like, there's no new content for this past game, so why will I try and stretch the play time till it like stretch that replay factor until it finally just snaps, when I could just try and play some other games. And then it's like the community can never make up their mind. It's always like, oh, this guy, he's we know him for zombies, but he's not playing zombies. Herder, I don't like this content. And then they go back to playing zombies, and it's like, oh, you're playing zombies again? This is so boring. I'm like, then what do you want? What do you want? This guy wants to play a different game. You're getting mad at him for wanting to play a different game. He goes back to playing the same game you've seen him play for 10 years. and then now you're getting mad that it's boring. Which is why I know we had a bunch of like YouTubers that are just like, yeah, I don't care. I'm just gonna play whatever I want. And like they're actually doing better. Like they're doing better for it than they were if they would have been if they just stuck to zombies.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that would also go back to what I was saying earlier, wherein I'd also just play what I want on stream. Like it doesn't really matter. Like pleasing the community aside, because there are people out there who'd love the content that you have, no matter whatever you're playing.
Yeah.
And I would say those are genuinely your actual followers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're not in it for a certain type of thing, because there are a lot of streamers out there, I would say particularly on Facebook, who have thousands of viewers but only because they're giving away money.
Oh yeah.
Like
Oh,
I'm
what?
not
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're or load for your cell phone or something like that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
there are a ton of those people wherein keep watching me, maybe one of these maybe in this stream you'll win something. So I don't want to be that type of person wherein you're just watching me just for a giveaway or just because you want to gain something. Like maybe down in the future, because like I said, I do not have a big community. I don't have that much of a big following. But maybe down the line I do a giveaway, maybe some Steam credits or whatever, or
Yeah.
in-game credit, whatever game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't want to be known as a streamer wherein he just gets a lot of views because he's just giving away some random stuff.
Yeah.
So as for myself, I would love to have a community, and I'm still in the process of building that, wherein people genuinely want to watch me because they want to build that connection with the streamer that they're watching. And sorry about that. But I think it's the best thing for a streamer to have is a community wherein you're all just having fun, because there are a ton of streamers. I'm not gonna name any names, but there are a ton of streamers whose community is so toxic, even to the streamer itself,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they're trash talking the streamer, like, stop playing this game, it's dead, but it's really up to the streamer or the content creator what game he's gonna play at the end of the day, because
Yeah.
it's what he wants to have fun with. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, if you don't
Yeah.
want to watch him play that game, you don't have to watch him play that game.
Yeah. there are a ton of other people streaming the game that you
You
want
want to
play.
watch.
So-
Yeah.
You want to watch. Yeah, so
You don't have any obligation. Like, sure, you're following him because you enjoy his content for this game. If he's not playing the game you want to see him play, then you don't have to go on and watch him. Like, sure, like, it could mean you could say, like, oh yeah, the extra views help, or it's nice to have more people watching your stream to engage with. But like, if your engagement is if the engagement is you going on there and saying, hey, I don't like this game, why are you playing this game, go back to playing like the other game, game I want to watch you play, it's like, that's not the kind of engagement they really necessarily want. Again, it's like, it's just about, like, you can go ahead and watch another person play the same game. If it's not the game you don't want right now, you don't have to go on there,
exactly.
because it's up to
kind of
him.
want to add on to that.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so what do you call it? The whole thing about, like, trash talking the streamer, because I think that's really, it's really bad, and it's weird because the streamer is basically advertising, him or herself, right? That's the product they're trying to sell. Like, it's not the game itself necessarily, because you could watch no commentary gameplay on YouTube, right? But like the personality, the charm of the person talking, how he or she goes about the game, and how he or she interacts with everything, like the viewers and all that. I feel like that's exactly what that the viewer should be there for, like, not just the game. The main product is like the entree is like the streamer, and then like the appetizer is kind of like the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I
like,
mean?
you're trying to get them to watch you because you're playing this game, but
Because it's you.
Yeah, you're not saying like, hey, play this game. Like, oh, I'm playing like playing Tekken, I'm not trying to say, like, hey, play Tekken. I'm trying to say, like, hey, watch me play Tekken. You know?
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
there are
Yeah.
1,000 other content creators that are playing Tekken. There are 1,000 other content creators playing Call of Duty or Counter-Strike. But it's like, we're not trying to get you to play the game. We're trying to get you to watch us play the game. Because, you know, what makes it unique at the end of the day is how we play and how we, you know, showcase ourselves doing this thing. Like, because no matter what you do, the game's always going to be there. You know, it's up to the player or the streamer to add that kind of charm to make it unique.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Because like if we were trying to sell you the game, like we could just make trailers or just have no commentary, no commentary gameplay.
Exactly.
But like that's not what streamers do. Streamers are supposed to, you know, show themselves playing the game. Because as you said, you're not trying to advertise the game. You're trying to advertise yourself. You're trying to get yourself out there. You know, so that's the whole thing about it. Is like, you know, again, yeah, you're spoiled for choice when it comes to content. You can go like Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, you know, you're spoiled for choice when it comes to where you want to watch your content, how you want to watch your content, who you want to watch playing that, you know, with that content. But, you know, you got to make it unique. That's one thing, is that it's up to the streamer, the YouTuber, the influencer to make it unique. Otherwise, you know, it just gets bland and repetitive. Then you start getting called out for copying things. So, you know, yeah, it's just like what Van said. It's all about, you know, advertising yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Something I also I kind of wanted to touch in on this podcast is what do you guys like? What's your thought on streamers that use different tactics because streamers that use different tactics to gain viewers as compared to streamers who gain viewers because they're generally good. Like the streamers that use the different tactics are just not as good in actually playing the game.
Like the aforementioned giveaway people.
Like,
Yeah, like
Even-
giveaway people or some other type of streamers.
booby streamers. But it's
I didn't want to say it, but yeah, that was what came to
He
mind.
said it for you.
yeah, that's also came to mind. That's why I said it. But it's like, even if you're not trying to get yourself out there, and you just want, like, you're not trying any tactic to get yourself out there, like, you're still subconsciously have a kind of tactic to get yourself out there with the way you like on Twitch. I know you can edit from your dashboard, like the notification that pops up when you go live, you know, your title, your tags, your descriptions, your stream markers. And it's like, even if like you're not really like set on like, you know, trying to attract views, that like the way you edit your stream and the way like you have all your overlays set up and how you, again, about like how you add your own unique spin to your stream, that is still subconsciously your tactic to try and get yourself out there. Because, you know, if you say like, oh, I don't have any tactics at all, I could just play the game, have OBS on, and I could probably like say a few things. But like, if I like have a certain way that I style like my chat box, or I style my alerts, or like the kinds of GIFs or sounds I use for my alerts, or the, you know, like the little viewer count, or the like donation goals or whatever, like that's like the tactics I'm using to get it out there. Of course, like there are those like scumbags who try and like, you know, really like blatantly use all these like scams or like clickbaits and stuff to try and get views. There's always going to be some kind of tactic to try and get yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just
Well,
a
my
matter of
thoughts
what
on that.
tactic is.
Well, my thoughts on that is that as long as it's working for you and you're confident and you're not hurting anybody and it's gaining you a lot of traction, then go for it, you know? Like what Woody said, the cleavage streamers for girls or the giveaway people for whatever. As long as it's working for you, you're not hurting anybody, then I say go for it, because at the end of the day, content is content. And as long as it's, because the content may not be for you, but for somebody it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if it's not your type of entertainment, then okay. But for somebody out there, it is. So, just let them have their
They're fun.
fun spin on entertainment. Yeah. So as long as, again, you're not hurting anybody and you're not, ripping somebody off using, scams and whatnot, go for it.
Yeah.
So
You do you. I'll do me.
exactly.
Yeah, it's a basic premise that people should follow.
Although,
Alright,
like,
so
speaking of clickbait, this made me like think of again, like way back Call of Duty days. Clickbait was so bad. Like, there's this one YouTuber, I remember. I think his name was like Exility or something, and he had the worst clickbait in the community. Everybody was ragging on this guy. And like even his whole like video to explain why he quote unquote had to clickbait was clickbait too. Like it was that bad. What? But like for context, you had like on Black Ops 3, you could pick like I think 6 attachments on your gun and like 1 optic, and like the optic was counted as a separate attachment. And like there was this one gun called like the Draken, which was like a semi-automatic sniper rifle, hit pretty hard, especially if you put high caliber and FMJ on it. So like, and people would run these setups where they'd put like the ELO sight, which is like a red dot sight you cut in half, so you had more peripheral vision, and then you had like they'd put extended mag, fast mag, and then like high caliber FMJ, quick draw, and everything on it. So basically all the bells and whistles. And like he had a video about it, and it was called like, "This secret weapon in Black Ops 3 will blow your mind," and had like the red arrows and everything. And someone was like, it's literally a gun that's been in the game since day 1. It's no secret. You just gotta put the attachments on it. And then like there was that video about him, like he was like saying, we have to clickbait because this is how we get views, and we need these views to sustain, like, because that's basically our job. But then even someone was like, so you're clickbaiting because you want to clickbait. You don't need to clickbait, you just want to clickbait. This video is still clickbait.
Yeah.
those clickbait videos from Zombies Call of Duty, how to get the ray gun every time.
Oh yeah. If you go up to the box and you knife it and you shoot it here and you do a 360 and you go prone 3 times and you crouch in front of it, you turn around, you turn back around, you get the ray gun.
Wait, what? Wait, didn't I get like the ray gun? Like,
Oh yeah, actually,
I remember just one story.
We were playing
where
World at
Woody
War.
and I were on World at War Zombies.
Yeah.
Darius. It was so funny because I was hitting the box, right, and everyone knows that goddamn box. So I kind of made the joke because we haven't played Zombies in a while. I was like, oh wait, what if I make the joke? Okay, guys, this is like 2021 working glitch. How to
get the ray gun every time. And I was like, yo,
I started making fun of it, but you start like knifing the box, crouch, stand up, and look at it, and all of a sudden I actually got the ray gun.
Yeah, he actually got the ray gun,
Incredibly-
and we started freaking out.
Incredibly lucky.
And we started
I don't want to
freaking out.
reenact it because I'd be noisy. Essentially, I was like,
Yeah, we started freaking out. We were like, wait, you actually got it? This wasn't supposed to work.
yeah, that was the joke. It wasn't supposed to work.
You know that meme of like the head of the Smash like project Sakurai, and he's like, no, this isn't how you're supposed to play the game. Oh man.
I remember getting the ray gun when we played co-op on WoW.
Oh,
Sorry, World at War. And I think it was the Japanese mission. And then you were like, okay, dude, you just gotta jump from this stone to this stone to this stone. And then you gotta activate this statue and this statue. And then you're gonna get the ray gun.
That's actually a thing. Like, that was
that
actually a classic Easter egg.
It's probably where they got it from. How to get the ray gun every time.
Yeah, because that whole
Those
step
were
was
the
literally just jump in 4 puddles, and then the last one, your screen starts to shake. I started thinking, because like you brought up Assassin's Creed, and I started thinking about it, and I was like, man, Assassin's Creed was such a vibe. My first Assassin's Creed was Brotherhood. My first Assassin's Creed was Brotherhood, and I love that game. I think that's the only Assassin's Creed game that I've basically... I haven't gotten all the trophies, but I think I've basically like maxed it out with all the purchases. Like I've gotten all the like the purchasable weapons, the unlockable armor. I think the only thing I haven't gotten is like one sword, because there's one treasure chest somewhere that I haven't gotten that needs to give me one item that I still haven't gotten for the blacksmith quest. Other than that, I think Brotherhood was my favorite one. 2 and Brotherhood. Revelations was alright, but I feel like they changed it too much by
Two
then.
was amazing.
Yeah.
2 and like 2 when everybody was talking about that the giant squid.
No.
Like and you got like the when you got the armor of Altair. That was one of my favorite like mastery assassin armors. Like they did the same thing in Brotherhood with the armor of Brutus, but I just felt it looked too big. But Altair's armor, amazing.
Oh yeah.
Because like you could always go 2 ways in Assassin's Creed. You could either do the whole unlock quest, or you could just do with max everything from all the purchasable shops. Like you could just get like the best sword in the game, and then like the best purchasable armor, and it basically did the same thing. Like I know I used to do that. I used to have like 2 save files. One where I completed with the unlockable, like the main quest armor, then the second one where I just went with just purchasing everything.
Yeah.
Only thing is, well, once you do your new game plus, you just have nothing to do. You have like thousands of florins. Like I have in Brotherhood, like my current save file that I completed everything is like I have 300,000 florins, and like I can't even use them. The only thing you can really use them for is like throwing them in like little 10 bits on the floor, like throwing them on the floor to distract the guards, or like just to mess with the people. But yeah, Assassin's Creed was such a fun series. I don't know where it went though by the time was it Origins or Odyssey that came out first?
Origins was first.
Yeah, like when
Egypt,
you're Egypt,
and
yeah, like
Odyssey.
I don't know where the hell that went anymore.
Yeah, it was pretty weird, but honestly, the gameplay was actually pretty nice.
Yeah,
but the story, it was kind of
Like,
like
weren't
it
they-
goes way back. You know?
Weren't they already stretching it by the time of like Rogue or something? Cause
Wait, what was that?
weren't they already stretching the story like way too far by like Rogue? Cause like
Yeah.
1 through 3, so you have like 1, the Ezio trilogy, and then 3 was like really concise. It's like, oh, it's Desmond. Desmond's our main guy. And then by 4, I know at the end, because like spoilers, but you know, should I even say spoilers? The game's 8, almost 9
Yeah.
years old. I'm not gonna say it's a spoiler if you haven't played
It's
it.
for
That's,
Black Flag.
yeah, because like at the end of 3, like Desmond dies or something because he completes his duty to save. Because he completes his like duty as an assassin to save the world or something.
Yeah.
And then it turns out in like 4, Abstergo found his body, and then they started doing something with his genetic memory, even while he's dead, or something. And they were making Assassin's Creed games within their own universe, so I don't know how that paradox works. I lost track of it by 4. I never actually played 4. I want to play 4 though. But then I just didn't have. I don't
Flag
have
had one of the best open sea combat.
It looks
That's
it.
what
I want to
Yeah.
play it single-handedly for the shanties alone, just so I can go on the ships and start singing with the crew.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the main aspects I want to see about it. But then like, I was into Unity for a bit. I never got to play Unity, but I was really into like it looked.
I never got to play Unity.
It looked so cool though. I always loved
I
seeing like.
also
The,
The glitches were more.
And, yeah.
but then like next thing you know, it's like wait, we're in ancient Egypt. I thought like the true origins of Assassin's Creed was the Crusades. Like why are we in ancient Egypt now? Next thing you know, we're in ancient Greece. I'm like, okay, 300, and then
Became Vikings.
then we got Vikings now, and like even you ever see that if you're into VTubers like the degenerate I am, that like one VTuber who completed Valhalla, and all she could say was just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, that's just me looking at the entire Assassin's Creed story from Black Flag onwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, wait, hot take on Assassin's Creed actually. But there's one really interesting time period that they could tackle. Imagine an Assassin's Creed in the Spanish colonial era of the Philippines.
That was suggested years ago, like, and everybody was so hyped for it because one of the devs, it was posted on like an open forum, and one of the devs was like, interesting. And so you had all these like people going around, what's the next? Is the next Assassin's Creed gonna be in the Philippines? Is it gonna be in the Philippines? Is the next Assassin's Creed gonna be? It's gonna be in the Philippines. What time is it gonna be set? Who like are there any major historical figures from the Philippines we're gonna see? And like everybody was trying to make it make sense, and then it never actually happened. We went to Egypt.
Bro. Imagine meeting Jose Rizal in
And he's an
in
assassin.
Assassin's Creed.
And he's an assassin. It's like, whoa. It would
But you
make,
know what was actually? Sorry, go finish your point.
like it would make for it's such a niche little piece of history too. And you know, of course, as
Yeah.
Filipinos, we hold that dear to us. But it's like, it's such a niche little bit of history that, and it actually, like when you look at people trying to make it make sense for the Assassin's Creed story, it actually could make sense.
Yeah.
Too bad it
Yeah.
just it's never touched upon.
Yeah, I mean, the Philippines had been colonized for what 300 plus years, let's say,
Yeah.
by the
Yeah,
Spanish,
like-
right? And that's like one of the
And then
longest
after
times
that-
the country had been colonized. And isn't the whole theme of the assassins to break free, like
Yeah.
freedom and all that?
And like against the Templars and everything, and it would make sense for like the Spanish, like
Spanish.
in was it in Black Flag the Spaniards were Templars in Black Flag?
If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Yeah, they're because they're in the Caribbean, right? And like there was a lot of Spanish
Yeah.
colonialism going on there as well, and like
Mm.
you know it was shown in like the trailers too that like the Spaniards were Templars as well. So like it could have made sense, but it never did. But like you know they just never touched upon that. Speaking of Assassin's Creed in Spain, what about the that Assassin's Creed movie? The Assassin's
Oh, is
Creed.
this the one by Netflix?
No, the Assassin's Creed movie with Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender.
Yeah.
I
What
actually saw
movie was
that.
this? How come I never heard of
It was
this?
pretty decent. It was pretty
Yeah, it was
decent,
pretty
honestly.
decent. Like it came out. Someone Google that. Like when was the Assassin's Creed movie? It came out just a few years ago.
I was like-
Assassin's Creed movie.
2 years ago? 3 years
Yeah,
ago?
3 years ago. 2016. And 4 years ago,
Oh.
yeah, it was 2016.
Yeah.
And it was pretty faithful, actually. I mean, they changed a few things, but all in all, the actual like movie was a pretty faithful like adaptation of the original source material. And it's like I saw part of it, and I would say it actually did it justice.
Yeah. There were certain scenes like they did the leap of faith
Yeah,
and then the assassination style. It was very nice. It was
yeah, it's very cool as well. I mean, the animus was changed up so much, but it was like it actually could work. It does work for like the kind of thing they're trying to show here, and I think they even mentioned like the whole the bleeding effect and the how the animus actually takes a toll in your mind, because like there was the whole scene where like he had they were in the room full of like the brain dead people, like all the previous assassins. It was an interesting take. I don't like, as I said, I only ever saw part of it, but from what I'd seen, it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
I watched it in theaters, but I don't even remember what I watched.
It was one of those movies for you.
Yeah, sadly.
Oh man.
Speaking of video game movies that are actually pretty bad, I love the Resident Evil franchise. And like,
Resident Evil movies.
okay, you see, you have like the Resident Evil games, right? Like, you have like the Resident Evil games, right? Like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Revelation, 6. Like, you have all those games, and then you have the movies. Like, you actually have the Capcom movies, like the 3D CG movies. Then you have the ones with Mila Jovovich by Paul W.S. Anderson. Those are weird. Like, they're cool, but not as Resident Evil movies. Like, you can't tie those to the game. You can't tie those to the game. Like, what was it? Someone was saying, like, when you look at it, the whole point of the Resident Evil franchise was just so Paul W.S. Anderson can make his wife look cool.
No, like my thing with like Resident Evil is like in terms of the game, like it started out like a scary zombie type game, and then I think around like Resident Evil 5, I think, or 6, like it like started steering into this like purely action game, and I think what happened was like they lost like a lot of
I think by
support from that.
4.
Like a lot of people.
4 was when they started going more action oriented, but they still kept the horror theme.
Yeah, that's why I don't know. For me personally, like Resident Evil 4 is a really good game. It's probably the best out of all those games. But I don't know, you could consider it a hot take, but I don't really like the fact that like the games after that they kind of like veered more towards the action and like kept away the horror stuff.
Chris Redfield punching boulders over here. Yeah, the
I
ending.
think that's what I loved about Resident Evil 7. Like,
Oh yeah.
because right now they're gonna be releasing Resident Evil Village or 8, right? So I Woody here is gonna say something about that 9-foot.
I was gonna say, but let's keep that away. Let's keep away from that. Let's keep away from that.
So anyway, I think it was a very refreshing take on the series where they went back to their roots in a sense. Like
Yeah.
it was first person. When you opened the door, you had to go with the door. So it's like, would you know that would there be a zombie on the other side of the door or whatnot, or something like that. There are so many jump scares, and it was a very refreshing take on the series, and that's why when I played it, I finished the game. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do any of the DLCs, but I would say 5 and 6 became kind of weird, but when they went into 7, it was actually pretty refreshing.
Although I think with 7 it was just harder to see the connection to the main line, like Resident Evil games.
Yeah, I think that's the only thing. Yeah,
But
it had its own.
yeah, it had its own little
Gameplay-wise,
story,
yeah.
and then we find out at the end, like, oh yeah, the BSAA and Chris Redfield are still running around. Oh yeah, and then the DLC where Chris is still going around punching things.
Yeah.
Except he's not on steroids this time. It's like, yeah, you had like Chris Redfield in what, like the first Resident Evil game. He comes back in 5 and he's all like roided out, and he's got like 9 feet wide shoulders and his biceps are the size of my head. Then he punches a boulder. Then he punches boulders and everything. That was like one of the biggest memes for the community. Then Resident Evil 6 comes out. He's not as bulked up. Resident Evil 7 comes out, and then he's like even thinner. But like I don't know if you watch any of the like actual like the 3D CG like Resident Evil movies that are actually like, I think it's actually within the canon of Resident Evil. But like one of the most, because like there's the new one coming out this year, like Resident Evil Dark something, I forgot, but the one that came out before that, Resident Evil Vendetta, is just absolutely tragic. I could not.
That's the one on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's the one on Netflix now. I could not get past like even the first act of that, because it's just, there's so many like cliches and played out scenes that I'm like, yeah, I can't even get through this, man. I don't even want to. Nope, I'm out. Like I actually have 2 of them on DVD. Like I have Damnation and Degeneration on DVD.
Man, that's such a throwback right there.
DVDs?
Not only like, not like only the movie itself, but DVDs, dude.
Like you saw what I just showed in the beginning. Like this is my old like horror movie collection on DVD. It's all here. Like the Resident Evil movies are on there. I have like Friday the 13th and like Nightmare on Elm Street and all that. I think I have The Grudge on there as well. I used to love buying DVDs. Like that was such a, like, cause right before the pandemic, I was going to like this mall, and there was this stand there where they sell like a whole bunch of junk, and like on one side it's all DVDs. Like it's just all DVDs of whatever you can think of. Like they have like from your, those old like mid 2000s like yoga videos your mom would watch on DVD. with like that weird upbeat music and like the people in spandex. Like they have stuff from that to like kids movies and kids shows on DVD to like horror movies and all these other classic movies. Like for Christmas, I actually got the Godfather box set on DVD. But like, you know, they were like
cool.
they were like 100 pesos each, or like one DVD was like 100 pesos. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Like I wanted to get some, and I got some pretty cool movies. Like I was able to get, you know, the 2 Resident Evil movies. I got Drunken Master, like the old Jackie Chan movie. I was able to get Casino. And like I started thinking about it, how like it was always such a thrill when I used to buy it, like when I'd buy a DVD when I was a kid. Like, you know, when you'd open it, you'd get that fresh whiff of plastic. Like you'd tear off the wrapper and then like you open the thing, like you hear the click, and then it's just like the fresh whiff of plastic in your like nostrils. I'm like, yeah. And there's the small piece of bubble wrap inside, like the little square of bubble wrap, and I'm like, man, like kids these days are never gonna know. Like, wow, I sound like I'm fucking 80 years old. Like, yeah, you kids these days are never gonna know what it's like to go down to like the video store and buy a DVD.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
Oh, dude,
Like, even just to like circle it back to video games, man. I remember, cause I stay here in like where we have like this mall, and basically it's known for like selling anything from like pirated games, pirated DVDs. Even for a time, like we had this like Suki, which is basically like the guy that you go to for everything.
yeah,
And
your connection.
yeah, the connection. And like we would just go to him, like if it's video game related, my dad and I would just go to him with like this like long list of like PS2 games. And then we'd come back with like, and we just cross it out of our list once we got it. You know, like that whole like trading system before that happened. Like for example, let's say you got like a really bad version of like a bad PS2 game, and when you put it on your PS2, it would show you like the red screen of death.
I can't relate, but Van.
And then and then like yeah, you know, like the game's rigged, so you can just go back and then give that game back. And sometimes if they don't have another version of that game, you can just get another game, or if they did have a version of the game, you can try that game again. It was just, you know, that whole like, well, now it's pretty ancient, because you know, it's either you download the game directly from the online store, or you have to buy the original content for like, let's say PS3, PS4. Sometimes for PC, you still have to buy the game itself.
The disc, but
but
the
mostly
CD-ROM.
now it's like, yeah, but like mostly now it's also downloaded. But yeah, that's something I also miss about like in terms of the gaming community, like that whole like trading. And
Yeah, like
you
the
know.
most recent game I got was Persona 5 for my PS3. Yeah, and like that's when I kind of realized like, damn, it's actually been a while since I've actually bought a game. Like, and like I kind of remember it's like, yeah, going to the counter and being like, yeah, I'll get this, and then they like open it for you and they have you like check the bottom of the disc, make sure it's not scratched. They put it back in and they start asking me like, the questions I got was like, oh yeah, sir, like what's your system? PS3, is it not jailbroken? It's not jailbreak. And then I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And they like write you up the receipt and they make you sign and everything. I'm like, damn, it's actually been a while since I've had to buy a disc of a game. Cause like, cause like for a while I wasn't really using my PS3. I was on my PC. I was playing a lot of was like playing Tekken, some old Call of Duties as well, like for mods, and then I got Resident Evil 4 for my PC. So, you know, everything's digital. My PC doesn't have a disk drive built in. I have to get a USB one. So it's like everything's just like, okay, I have Steam credits. I'll just click it, buy it, download it, and then next thing you know, it's like buying a disc is so much different. It's like so different. It's such a different feeling compared to like just clicking something like, okay, I got it. You know, man.
Call me old-fashioned, but I prefer discs.
Yeah, actually.
Oh yeah, dude, definitely. And
I mean,
like I think, sorry, I just want to say like, for like, I think in order to like relate it to another like practice, it's like, you know, like when you love reading books. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
you get like the new book and then you like smell it.
Oh yeah, and there's like this
Like-
the smell of fresh pages.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like that's like that feeling that you get like when you do that. That's how I feel like when I used to like buy a lot of like the PS2, PS3 games,
Yeah,
but like the disc itself.
Sure, like it's like with books also. It's like sure you can get the EPUB or like a PDF file or something like for free online, but it's not gonna feel.
Disgusting.
It's not gonna feel the same
Yeah.
as actually like walking to the store, saying, "Hey, do you have this book?" and picking it up, and like actually picking it up, paying for it. Like, sure, I know what this book. I know what happens in this book because I've read the summaries and I've studied it and I've seen all these things about it. But it's not gonna feel the same if I don't have that book. Like that was me.
Yeah.
That was like me with things like the Divine Comedy. It was like, yeah, I know what happens. I've had to study this thing in like 10th grade, but like it's not gonna feel the same if I don't have the book on my shelf or I don't have to carry the book around with me.
Like the
Yeah.
buying of the book and having the physical copy of
Yeah,
whatever it
yeah.
is just a different. It's an experience on its own. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
Oh, definitely.
and like you can like all these people can argue all they want. Like, you know, why will you like go out and buy a disc? You can download it anyway. Or like, oh, why will you go out and buy a book or a movie? You can download it anywhere. You can stream it. I'm like, you wouldn't understand. It's not the same as going to the shelf, picking it out, going to the counter, placing it down, like paying the cashier and like having that interaction with them, and then like, you know, seeing what goes on around that. Like one of my favorite things is like when I'd buy games at Data Blitz, it's actually seeing like walking around and like seeing what they had, and like you go to the counter.
Yeah, I was actually about to say that. Like, part of the enjoyment is like 2 to 3, you know, like spending like an hour or 2 hours in the video game store, going through their entire like available library and like.
Yeah. Like if it's
Trying to
not
find
if
the
it's
game
not
that-
games, if it's not games, they're like looking at PC peripherals like, hey,
Yeah.
what's the most
Keyboards or
what's the
mouse
most
or
expensive
whatever.
keyboard they have here right now
Yeah.
that I'm never gonna buy because it's overpriced, but like, hey, what the hell? Like, let's just see what they have
And
here.
But like when it comes to equipment for me, it's like I go to the store and then like I see like, oh, let's say for example, oh, this is the nicest like Logitech mouse or like, you know, like Razer controller or something, and then like I go to like secondhand places also, or like secondhand like sellers or like buy and trades and all that stuff to find that mouse or find that controller, and then
Yeah.
you know, it's just that it's like it comes in it, like the experience in itself is actually what kind of like sells me to the community of like video games and all that.
It's more authentic
Yeah.
feeling.
Speaking of experiences
Yeah.
at gaming stores, have any of you ever had like a weird or funny experience at a game shop?
No. Well, for me, not any.
nah, I don't think I've had one.
Because I have.
How
quite-
about you? Have you had
I
one?
I have quite the story.
Oh.
Of like some boomer parent and like her like I want to say like 14, 15-year-old like kid. This was like 2019. Anyway, so I was like I was at
Okay, I'll go after you.
I was at a Data Blitz and I was just looking at like just looking around, seeing what they had for like, you know, for PS3 or for like how much a Razer Fight Stick was. It's 10,000 by the way. So I was looking around and then I remember because like it's pretty quiet actually inside a Data Blitz, like especially if it's like a small Data Blitz, like the one I go to is like really small, or it's pretty small compared to other Data Blitz that I've been to, and it's pretty quiet, right? And then out of nowhere you just hear this voice cutting through of like something like talking about this, like, because I think this kid wanted to buy like a horror game or something. I think it might have been Resident Evil or something for the Switch. I couldn't get a good look at what the actual game was for the Switch, but I know it was like one of the like definitely M-rated games. And then like we just start hearing this like argument going on, and like this boomer parent was like, you know, why are you getting this game? Why you get this game? And then like he was like, but my friend just told me I should try it. You know, so I wanted to like get it and see, you know, try it. And then he's like, you're not consulting with me. all these topics and all these topics, they will make you evil. Next time you consult with me.
Oh my god.
I was like, oh, okay. Next time you consult with me.
Oh,
And then
man,
like they paid
dude.
for it and they walked out. And then like people started laughing. Like, dude, there were literally like two of these like attendants, like in the like these two guys in like the uniform. They were like attendants at the stop, like in their storage is like overhead. And like, so there's one of them like at the base of a ladder, the other one was like stocking stuff like up above, and they started talking to each other, and they were like fucking laughing, dude. It was so funny. Like, it was just so funny. I'm like, dude, poor kid. Getting
Yeah.
chewed out in front of an entire game shop. I was just like, okay, so that just happened. And I continued browsing. Van, you said you wanted to say something. Like, what do you got?
Okay, I just remembered that I had a funny video game story experience. So I was at a data blitz as well with my brother and my dad. And this kid was trying to purchase a PS4 game. I think it was Watch Dogs, right? Watch Dogs. I clearly remember that. He was with his dad, but he was fairly old because he had like white hair everywhere and all that. So when he brought it up the counter, the cashier lady was like, sir, are you sure you want to buy this game for your child? Of course, he was saying it in Filipino, but I'm like translating it. And then he was like, why? What's wrong with it? And then like, the cashier lady is like, it contains rated like mature content. She was enumerating like strong language, violence, and like he didn't bat an eye. He was just like, But then when it got to this one, she was like, sexual content. Then the parent was like, sexual content? What kind of sexual content? Like what? So that's where you draw the line, like the sexual content, like not the violence, not the language, but yeah, let's draw the line at sexual content.
Like
He was so loud. He went completely 180. He was like,
so like, you know, the Tom, like the Tom and Jerry, like the Tom reading the newspaper. Like, it's just going through everything, and then once it reaches sexual content, he's like, man. It's like, you ever see that Vine that was like when you try and sneak an M-rated game past your mom, and it's like, and when the cashier's a snitch, it's like, yeah, it's his birthday, get him any, like, you know, it's your birthday, get what you want. Then he like passes GTA 5, and then like the cashier's like, ma'am, I'm gonna ask to confirm if you're gonna let your child buy this. It's got all kinds of things, and he starts enumerating everything, and then like all you can do is just look at the cashier and be like, dude, what the fuck? Shout out to Data Blitz though. Data Blitz is like, that's the spot. Like, that's where you
Yeah, that's like the mecca of video games.
yeah,
basically.
that's where you go if you want a video game.
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Shout out Data Blitz, please sponsor us.
Yeah, actually, we would love for you to sponsor us.
Someone put that in the description. Whoever's gonna tweet this when this is out, can you actually like tag Data Blitz?
Of course. I don't
Be like, yo,
really
Data
don't,
Blitz,
so-
sponsor us. But yeah, Data Blitz has always been the spot. Like, that's the first time I ever like. Data Blitz was the first place I ever reserved a copy of a game. I used to just get the games either for like Christmas or just like pick them up if I saw them. But Data Blitz was like the first place I ever remember reserving a copy of the game. It was Black Ops 3 because I was really excited for that. Black Ops 3 has a lot of topics I can actually talk about right now. But Black Ops 3, I was so excited for that game. It came out like, it was teased in like April of 2015. I was so excited for that game. I was like in the 7th grade. I was like saving up some money for it, and I remember it came out. It was said it was gonna come out November 6th, and I was like, "You're gonna have like Black Ops 3 when it comes out?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, we can reserve a copy for you. Just leave your number." And I was like, "Okay." Then I remember the day it came out. Like, it was a Friday. And I went like, because they had actually texted like, "Hey, we have copies of Black Ops 3. You can come and pick it up." And it was a Friday too, so like I immediately like from school went to Data Blitz, picked it up, like went home and installed it and like played it all night. Black Ops 3 was really something. It was all like, for as much as I say like I enjoyed it, it was also the first game that like I actually like consciously threw in the garbage. I actually
Why?
threw Black Ops 3 in the garbage because like for a while, I don't know if it's just my system or like my disc or whatever. It just was so like broken for a while. Like, at least what I had, like, it kept crashing. I could hardly even get into like one game, even with just bots. I could never get into like a game, like, and it would crash. Had such a hard time connecting to the online service, and then like it was also such a frustrating game to play as well. Like it's one of those things that you have to overcome your frustration and enter a fucking different plane of existence to try and to actually like enjoy it actively. And like I actually did that for a while, but like this, like the first time I got it, I was so pissed off I actually threw it in the garbage. Because it just wasn't, because it just stopped working for a while. Then after a while I was just like, shit, I missed this game, so I bought it again when it was cheaper.
Wow.
I still have that copy though, and like I play it every now and then, but like, I mean, I can play it and it's fun, sure, but it takes a while to actually start having fun with, especially if you're on PS3. You wanna move to meme of the day?
Yeah. I think we do that already.
All right, so we have another
Perfect
segment.
timing.
We have another segment right now. We call it Meme of the Day, where we ask our fans to send us some memes. So far, I've only got two, but I can tell they're pretty good. One of them is actually pretty spicy. So I've sent them to the Discord chat, and I have invited Bear to it as well. So if you would like to check out the two that we have gotten today, let's go. So let's start with the first one. It's a tweet. Phone rings at any time of the day. Me, what maniac would call me right now?
Jesus.
I think this is classic. This is like
it's a mood, definitely. Like
it's definitely a mood. Yeah, it's definitely a mood. And I mean, like, I don't know when the trend started, but like, wasn't it like for a time that people really started like turning tweets into memes, and then just like boomed from there, and then became like a standard template.
Yeah. Dude, tweets are always memes. There's always gonna be something you can meme on Twitter.
I mean, Twitter in itself for me is a meme, so
You know.
Yeah.
you know, you can't deny the fact that you are bound to find some stupidity on
Yeah, you are
Twitter,
definitely
but
gonna
this
find
is just-
something to meme on Twitter, but like, this is a mood right here. I like this. I like this one.
I like this meme a lot. This is definitely a meme.
That's much more.
They have like social anxiety.
Yeah.
The second one's pretty spicy.
I was gonna
Oh.
I was gonna say. This next one's
Dude,
really
if
spicy.
you know, you know.
Definitely.
Like, dude, if you know, you know. What would be the most annoying for you? Like, we're already talking about it anyway. I would say it's the middle finger and the thumb.
I was gonna say it's just
Oh my
the thumb mainly. The thumb or the index fingers. That's what
The
I don't
thumb.
like so much.
I think it would be the middle finger for me, because like, dude, it's right there. Like, come on, man. Anyway,
Sometimes the
Goddamn, what about
pinky
you,
is
Sam?
sometimes the pinky's annoying too. But
in a way,
other than that, I can.
but
deal,
not as much.
not as much as the index finger or the thumb, but I can deal with the middle finger and the ring finger. But you know,
The thumb.
you're very lucky, or you're very cultured if you always get the palm.
I think
What about
for me, I'm gonna go with the middle finger too. It looks like it's such a pain.
I wonder,
Like, if I'm understanding this meme correctly.
I
Wait.
wonder if you are.
Yeah.
Wait.
What's your take on it? What's your take on it?
We're talking.
I mean, like, this is the first time that I'm seeing this type of meme. So, like, the way I understand it is like
Oh, he doesn't
Like-
get it. He doesn't. Oh.
something's going on per finger.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. We don't. We're
It's
gonna talk about.
okay,
we're gonna
bro.
talk about this after the podcast.
It's okay, bro.
No. I think he's too young. He's too young to.
Yeah. Or he's not as cultured. He's not a very cultured individual.
Like
Dude.
we said, you know.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
Exactly.
If you don't know, we'll talk about it after the podcast.
Actually, no. It's better. I think it's better that you don't know, because
Oh yeah. That's something you need to find out on your own.
I think the fact that
Um,
that three of us know it, but like.
Three
no,
of us know it.
I don't.
It's
No.
horrible.
I find it absolutely fucking hilarious. Like,
But you
all three of you got it, and then like me, who always jokes about the fact that I'm like the token straight white male boomer here and all that shit. Just like I don't even know what's going on right now. Like I just find it absolutely.
are we permitted to discuss what the context is behind this?
We'll talk about it after the podcast.
Okay, well, I just want to point out that like in our first episode when we premiered this segment, we literally had a meme of Elmo looking down, and it talked about some sensitive
a
matters.
certain kind of ring,
Yeah,
and it wasn't
so,
one. And
you
it
know,
wasn't one you put on the finger too.
I mean, if we had that type of content on already, you
Yeah.
can always go in depth.
But it was something about a dinosaur and a chicken.
My favorite was still the Woody one.
Not me, but there was another one. No, my favorite one was the.
Anyway,
If
this
Bear,
meme is- I think-
Bear
I think
scrolls
we
up, he
know
can
it.
find the old memes of the day. But
Yeah.
I think we have for this meme we have a clear winner just because of the reaction.
just
one of
because
our
of the
members.
reactions we got, and like, okay, just for context, viewers, send us more memes, man. We need the memes. We need the good memes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Memes,
If any-
man.
We might end up sending ourselves memes.
Yeah, we
because
don't want
need,
to. In worst case scenario, we end up sending ourselves memes, but memes. Part of a balanced diet. We need those memes right now. We need those memes. Send us the good ones.
Exactly. And I mean, come on, viewers. We love the fact that you guys get to engage with all our little posts, like sending us questions for the episode and like sending us memes. So we encourage it. Like, send us memes, guys. Come on.
Yeah. So anyway,
Like
out of
so
all the
de-
memes we've
so
got,
desperate.
out of all the memes you've gotten today, there's a definite clear winner. We already know.
And
It
if
goes
you
to
know,
the it goes to the 5-finger death punch, I want to call it.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
That's pretty much it.
That's all you gotta say. It's for cultured individuals.
Oh man, dude, I love the fact how like on our first episode when we were doing meme of the day, like it was all like, we can't save our comments right now because we might get demonetized or we might get canceled, and now it's
Yeah.
just like, if you know, you know.
That's all we gotta say at this
Exactly.
point. That's all we gotta say at this point.
That's all we can say.
So that wraps it up for
So-
meme of the day. Let's get back to the pod. What's the most jank your setup's ever been? Like what's the most like Bear Grylls like improvise, adapt, overcome the thing you've had to do to your setup? Like
I actually think I know the answer to this, but let's have Bear answer it first.
yeah, if like while he's thinking, I'll start. So
Yeah,
basically
go
for
ahead.
this mic stand, this bit right here actually broke. Like the little like loops broke. So this bit ended up coming off. So I didn't have a place to like actually secure the mic. So what I ended up doing was I put the microphone in an old G Fuel tub. Like I took the cover off and then I just put the microphone in the tub and I just used to talk like right here. It's like that was like my one thing, and I think I quote unquote improved it by taking a paper towel roll and I put some cuts in the bottom and I just stuck the whole thing in so the wire wasn't bending as much.
Yeah.
So what's the most?
I
like-
remember that. You posted that on
yeah,
our
I
page.
posted it on the
Like, on
page. Like
page,
the fans will
yeah.
know, but like let's talk about that. Like, what's the most jank thing you've ever had to do to your setup?
Well, as for myself, when I was streaming on Facebook, I had this ring light set up right behind the monitor on my other table, because right now I'm on a different table because that table is like so messy right now. Like if you could notice, I'm looking overhead. I'm looking at it right now and it's so messy.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, there's this ring light where I had only two options. Either it was too dark or too bright.
Mhm.
So what I did was I got a piece of white paper and put a diffuser on it because I couldn't
Oh.
afford an actual diffuser. And it actually made my setup like really nice.
Yeah.
But I didn't really tell chat about that because I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm just using a piece of paper as a diffuser for my
Bear exposed?
but other than that, we good.
Now we can put in the video now. We can like make it bear exposed setup and like with the red circles and arrows. We can clickbait the hell out of this video now.
Awesome. In my case, actually, one of the worst streams that I ever did, it's actually all due to technical difficulties, but one of the worst streams I ever did was I streamed with Woody like on my 23rd birthday, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I
24th?
helped him set up.
Yeah, and he helped me set up, and it's just actually the thing that ruined it the most was the Wi-Fi. But the reason why that setup per se was also really jank was because that was one of those times where I finally like noticed how hard and how because like right as viewers of streams we always see like, oh look, this guy, he's streaming, he knows how to like moderate everything, like he looks at the chat every once in a while, and then like if there's technical difficulties within the game and like within his stream, like it's so easy for them. They just go like, hey chat, wait a minute, and then everything's so smooth. But like that was like the first time that I was like, I gotta like manage all of this by myself, and like actually experiencing having to like manage that, explain to the chat like, oh, technical difficulties and all those little things. Yeah, so I think that was like the probably most. Oh, and I think it's also like pertinent to the question that like I didn't really have a PC, nor did I even have like a second monitor to like help me out with all these things. So I was just literally
Same.
doing everything from like one laptop, which I found really, really difficult. And I don't know, like the more I streamed, whether it was just like, like the podcast or, different games, like even if it's just like a Jackbox game or an Among Us game and all that, like I got better and better, but it was really that first time.
Yeah.
I will never forget that, man. That was really crazy.
I mean, like, my setup's also like really the epitome of jank right now because like it's a single laptop, right? But like I don't have a stand for it. It's like on my old like textbooks from like 11th grade. Then like USB hubs, and then I have an Ethernet adapter on it because like for tech and reasons also because like there's a whole thing about Ethernet there. So now I just have this green cable running across my room on the floor, just like a shit ton of duct tape. But it gets the job done. But yeah, it's like it adds character. But it gets the job done, especially for this podcast. And I haven't had too much of a problem. Although, can we talk about this? Can we talk about Chrome, please? Can we talk about how much RAM Chrome takes up, please? Why is it like
I don't use Chrome anymore just because of that reason.
Yeah, like
I'm using Firefox.
Actually, me too. Like I used to be a very avid Chrome user,
Same.
and like the moment I found out like it uses way too much RAM, I switched to like I use now mainly Microsoft Edge and Safari, depending how high quality I want like to actually be seen. So basically, like if it's just like normal stuff, it's Microsoft Edge. If it's like if I'm watching Netflix or Amazon or HBO and all that, I usually use Safari because it's a lot better quality. But yeah, dude, Chrome uses way too much RAM.
I just use Chrome because that's where all my that's where my history is. Like I just use it because that's where all my my stuff is, right? That's where my Netflix login is. That's where my school login is. That's where my YouTube login is. That's where my Twitch login. It's just where all my logins are saved. So like I just keep sticking to it. Like I always complain about it, but like at the end of the day, I'm just too lazy to start switching and like having to save all my logins on like Edge or Firefox. But,
Yeah.
like, I remember one time like I remember seeing a meme about like how you click Chrome once, it doesn't respond. You click it repeatedly and it opens like 15 tabs. Like it opens like 15 windows. That actually happened to me one morning because like Chrome wasn't responding, so I exited and I clicked it and I was like, it's not working. So I clicked it a bunch of times and I had like 11 Chrome windows open at the bottom of my computer.
I know it's really, really frustrating, dude.
It's frustrating, but I just have to keep sticking with it.
Yeah.
Also part of the
You know,
reason,
it's funny
like,
because you brought up Chrome, right?
yeah.
Like, in terms of video games, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people know this, but like, there was, growing up, like, if you have no internet, right? There's like this notice with like the
dinosaur.
guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
and then you could play the dinosaur, and people actually like turned it into like a video game. Like it became like really popular
competitive,
for a while, and
yeah.
like people would like brag about like how high their score got and all that stuff. I just found it hilarious because it's like, you know, we've been talking about like PS3, PS2, PS1. Even in the first episode, I think I mentioned that like my first console, like the first console that I actually encountered like ever was the N64 with Mario and all that. But come to think of it, like PC was like a pretty standard console. You know, like for a time, like PC gaming was like at its like peak, and then it like disappeared for a bit. Everybody was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do like, you know, PS4 now, or I'm gonna do PS3 now."
Everybody
and
had
all
like
that.
their home consoles now.
And then I don't actually know exactly what game brought it back. I'm pretty sure it's League of Legends.
That everybody
But-
started using PCs again.
Yeah, everybody started using PC again, and then from there it just became PC, and then it had like its own rebirth, you know?
Yeah, because like I remember around like PS3, Xbox 360 days, everybody was on about the console wars and like, oh yeah, PS3 is better, 360 is better, and then like everybody made the whole joke about PC Master Race. And it was like, oh yeah, PC Master Race, but then everyone's like, yeah, that's just a big joke. But then now you have actually like PC is way better than both of these consoles. Man.
No, that's crazy because like when you leave, because gaming, right? Like PC gaming, right? We were saying that like made its rebirth and all that stuff. But the thing is, like, people are like creating businesses mainly to cater to these gaming communities.
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
Jet and I know this guy who basically that's literally what he does. Like, it's either he live streams like PC repairs, or like he promotes like these new like CPUs and, you know, new RAMs, and like, and then his videos are mostly about like how to upgrade your PC, how to take care of your PC and all that stuff. It's just crazy to think that like because of how the PC gaming community handled itself, like the rebirth, how it peaked, all that stuff, how it's pretty much consistent ever since we found out that you could actually game on a PC.
Yeah.
You know, like all these different things came out of it. I don't know, I just find it pretty cool.
Like, I think a lot of like the major game franchises now started moving towards PC as well. Like, I know a few Persona games got ported onto the PC. Like Persona 4 Golden is on PC now. Persona 5 Strikers is on PC. Like, has a PC version. Even I think Tekken 7 was the first Tekken game on PC. So like PC is like really the system to be on right now. Especially
definitely.
because you know, with PC, like they've had a lot of things now, or like a lot of the newer, especially with Call of Duties. I know the things everybody was like the things everybody wanted that's in Cold War now, like field of view slider, motion blur, that was always in PC. Like it was always
Yeah.
in PC Call of Duty that you could adjust your like motion blur and your field of view and everything. So like it was always there. It was just very untapped.
Oh no, definitely. And I think like companies like Steam, you know, where like they created the software where you can have like all your PC games in one place. Because like back in the old days, it was pretty much just shortcuts. I remember like going to like computer shops, and instead of like opening up your Steam library, it would literally just be like desktop shortcuts, a bunch of them, like CS:GO, Dota, LOL, NBA was also a PC game for a time. You know, all that stuff. It was just there, and I don't know, it's just crazy.
Remember buying discs for PCs to play games? Can you
Oh
believe-
yeah.
Can you imagine you had to buy a disc for a PC game? Now you
But
just
it
gotta-
would work like a random console game, which was really funny to me.
Yeah.
Like the moment you put it in, it would like start up, and then you know you go to the menu and it's there, everything's there.
Yeah. Although yeah, Steam is obviously doing something right. Okay, so thank you very much for coming out to watch King's Casting Couch. I want to thank Bear especially for taking some time to make an appearance here and to so we can talk about video games. And everybody here, thanks you for watching. And again, we thank Bear for coming out for making an appearance. And we will see you in
Thanks
the
for
next
having
one.
me, you guys.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So yeah, please follow us on our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and keep updated with all our podcasts and little highlights and whatever stupid shit we decide to post on the Facebook page or on Twitter. And it's been good, guys. We'll see you in the next one, baby. We're out.